भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी हमारी दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हम।
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
पाणिर्मधुरः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीची मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं हृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं
यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। संग्राममय जीवन धरा पर विजय रथ ले हम चले। सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। हो समर्पण लखन जैसा राम जैसा त्याग हो। भीष्म सा हो नियम पालन शौर्य में अभिमन्यु हो। आपदाओं को कुचल कर वीर बालक हम चले। सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। बुद्ध जैसे कारुणिक हो धीर हम महावीर से। ध्रुव जैसे निश्चयी सत्याग्रही प्रहलाद से। दुर्दम्य सारे संकटों में अग्निपथ पर भी खिले। सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। हनुमान से सेवाव्रती जिज्ञासु हो नचिकेत से। कर्मयोगी कृष्ण जैसे वीर हो हम पार्थ से। बलिदान गोविंद सिंह सहो स्वार्थ सारा ही चले। सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। देशभक्ति हो शिवासम प्रेम हो गौरांग सा। स्वाभिमान प्रताप सा हो तेज झांसी वाली सा। जलती शहीदों की चिता से हृदय में अंगार ले। सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। संग्राममय जीवन धरा पर विजय रथ ले हम चले। सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। ध्येय ज्योति नित जले। ध्येय ज्योति नित जले।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरन रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन पवन सुत नाम महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुवेशा गानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत समभाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कपि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्योता ही मधुर बल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योता ही मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे सवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्त न धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरना मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रज।
Jai Shri Krishna, offering with a total surrender to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna in the Sashtang Dandavat Pranam posture and paying obeisance to the microscopic presence of Param Pujya Swami Govind Dev Giriji Maharaj, the founder of Geeta Pariwar, treasurer of Shri Janmabhoomi Nyas, and spreading the mission of हर कर गीता हर घर गीता गीता पढ़े पढ़ाए जीवन में लाए learn Geeta, teach Geeta and live Geeta. With that motto, we all offer our Sashtanga Dandavat Pranam in the lotus feet of Param Pujya Swami Govind Dev Giriji Maharaj. To begin the today's session, we offer our prayer into the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Though Lord Krishna is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, still to seek his presence amongst all of us, we offer prayer. And for offering prayer, I invite Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Bhaiya. He's from Gudina Krishna district, Andhra Pradesh. Very nice district of Lord Krishna. He's a school assistant, Telugu master, and his hobbies are Bhagavad-Gītā and Vishnu Sahasranam Parayans. He's MA, MEd. He's a co-trainer in L1 and he has taken 5 batches till now. And he joined Geeta Pariwar in March 2024. Bhaiya, you are welcome to lead us in prayer this evening. Jai Shri Krishna, Bhaiya. Yes.
जय श्री कृष्ण। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कौसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। जय श्री कृष्ण।
Thank you, Chandrasekhar Bhaiya, for the melodious and soulful prayer. Thanks a lot, Bhaiya. Now to invoke the radiance, divine radiance of Almighty, we light the lamp. For lighting the lamp for all of us, I invite Hema Sattaluruji. Didi is from Solihul, UK. She is housemaker. She is BSc Physics and BSc Technology Electronics. And she joined Geeta Pariwar in March 2024. And she has been co-trainer 4 times. We most welcome Hema Sataluruji for lighting the lamp for all of us.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you very much, Hema Didi, for lighting the lamp for us and having us an opportunity to have darshan of the beautiful Vigrah, your home temple. Thank you very, very much. As all of us know that this month is a very auspicious month. Margshish, Lord Krishna has said himself that among all the 12 months, I am the Margshish month. And as you all know that Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav is being celebrated across the whole globe. It started on 15th of November and this would continue till 31st of December this year. So on 1st December, there would be 7 parayans in continuation right from 6:30 a.m. IST till 10 p.m. IST. So all of you kindly join them. And we are holding Geeta Aao Geeta Sevi Bane sessions also on Saturday and Sunday, 8:30 p.m. IST. So kindly all the sadhaks are requested to join and offer free seva to the Geeta Pariwar as we are getting free seva from Geeta Pariwar in learning Bhagavad-Gītā and in our journey of 4 dhams, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So all these services we are getting free of cost. So in turn, it is our duty to join Geeta Pariwar. Though it is optional, but all of you are requested to join the sessions and offer seva. There are about 136 departments. You can choose the choice of yours where you can contribute to the Geeta Pariwar. And this session we are having of the chapter 18th, 6th part, which is the last part of this interpretation session. I myself, Harish Arora from Gurugram, welcome you all on this Zoom platform. You all sadhaks globally are welcome to this session through Facebook, through YouTube, Instagram, and other channels also. So the moment has come for which we have been waiting for. 18th chapter's interpretation is being taken by our most veteran Vikas ji Vaidya Bhaiya ji. I'm feeling honored to introduce our eminent speaker this evening, who's none other than Bachelor of Mechanical PGDBM, Vikasji Bhaiya. He has been NRI for 12 years and has widely traveled throughout the world. He's owning a IT company and he's based in Pune, Maharashtra. Bhaiya is multilingual. Is well versed in Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish language. Bhaiya has been regularly chanting all the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita for the last more than 5 years. Bhaiya is a senior trainer in Geeta Pariwar for L1 to L4 level, and he is involved in the activity of trainers selection system and trainers training for L1 to L4 level. Bhaiya is actively involved in teaching and Vivechan interpretations of Shri Vishnu Sahasranam, and he's a member of Pune Geeta Pariwar also. He has been guiding Geeta Vratis to prepare for Sringeri Peeth Geeta examination. He has already given Geeta Kanthas exam at Sringeri Peeth and received first prize at the hand of Param Pujya Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Ji Maharaj. A very warm welcome to respected Vikas Ji Vaidya Ji Bhaiya Ji to kindly enlighten us with his rich experience and deep and wide spiritual knowledge and wisdom on the interpretation of 18th chapter of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Ji Bhaiya Ji. Jai Shri Krishna.
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण दीदी. Jai Shri Krishna to all. A warm welcome to all Gita Sadhak. We'll conclude the 18th Adhyayat today. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter, the last chapter of your L4 level, we'll conclude today. Therefore, at the end of session today, we will take a quick review of the entire Bhagavad Gita, right from Shlok 1, Dharma Kshetriya, Kurukshetriya, up to last Shlok 700 Shloka of Bhagavad Gita, as to understand in short and find out the important takeaways for us. The purpose of studying Gita should be, what are the takeaways for me? Isn't it? So that we'll try to cover in the last part of this session. Out of all the 700 shlokas, what are the takeaways for me? In short, we'll try to take all that review. So please be present till the end of the session and also request your near ones and dear ones to join the session at least for the last part of the session so that they will get a quick glimpse of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Okay, having said that, we'll start with today's Vivechan. Today's shloka, first shloka, 62nd. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsasi shashvatam. Sharanam, surrender exclusively, sarva bhavena. Surrender exclusively unto him with your whole being. O Bharata, that means O Arjuna, by his grace, tat prasadat, by his grace, you will attain perfect peace and eternal abode. Tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsasi shashvatam. So being dependent upon God, the soul must also depend upon his grace to get out the present predicament and attain the ultimate goal of life, which is attaining Paramatma. Self-effort will never suffice for this. You may keep trying, but it will not suffice for this. But if the God bestows his grace, one will attain eternal bliss and the imperishable abode. That is what God is saying in this shloka. However, to receive that grace, the soul must qualify itself by surrendering to God. God is only asking that you surrender to me, then I will bestow my grace on you. Even a worldly father will not hand over all his possessions to his child until the child becomes responsible enough to utilize it properly. So the God will check whether we are responsible enough to take the bestowals of God or not. Similarly, the grace of God is not whimsical act of God. किसी को भी दे दिया श्रद्धा, God's grace. God has a perfectly rational rules on the basis of which He bestows His grace. If the God does not follow this, and if He works abruptly, randomly, perfect faith in God's will break. Let us say that a father has two sons. Like God has many bhaktas, let us say a father has two sons. He instructs both of them to work hard in the paddy field as it is cultivation season. One son, he toils and sweats it out in the blazing sun all day long. In the night, he returns and the father says, "Well done, my son, you are great. You are obedient. You are hardworking. I like that. You are loyal. Here is your reward. Take this 1,000 rupees and enjoy. Do whatever you like." The second son does nothing. He lies in the bed all day long, sleeping, drinking, smoking, and sometimes even abusing the father. क्या काम पीछे लगा दिया है father ने? At night, suppose the father says to the second son that never mind, after all you are my son, here is your 1,000 rupees, go and enjoy it yourself. What will happen? What will happen? The result of that will be the first son's motivation to work hard will get destroyed. He will say, if this is my father's reward system, then why should I work? I will also be doing nothing and I will also receive 1,000 rupees. Why have to toil throughout the day in blazing sun? Likewise, if the God grants His grace without our qualifying for it, all those who became saints, they will complain to God. What is this God? We strived many lifetimes to purify ourselves and then we became recipient of God's grace. But this person received it without making himself eligible for it. Then our efforts of so many lifetimes were meaningless. God says, I don't behave in such irrational manner. I have an eternal condition based on which I bestow my grace. In this slok, Sri Krishna Bhagavan has reiterated the necessity of surrendering to God to receive His grace. Now, what is the meaning of surrender? Surrender means हाथ ऊपर करना क्या? Surrender. Like the enemy soldiers will do to our soldiers, हम आपको surrender करते हैं. Is that surrender? This has been explained in Hari Bhakti Vilas, in Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu, and in Vayu Puran like this. First, they explain six aspects of surrender. Surrender has 6 aspects. First aspect, the desire to desire only in accordance with the desire of God. This is the first aspect. To desire only in accordance with the desire of God. By nature, we are all His servants. And the duty of the servant is to fulfill the desire of his master. Once we accept this relationship of master and servant, we have to fulfill all these desires. So as to surrender, the surrendered devotees of God, we must make sure that we confirm our will with the divine will of the God. A dry leaf is surrendered to the wind. It does not complain whether the wind is lifting it up or takes it forward or backward or drops on the ground also. Similarly, we too must learn to be happy in the happiness of God. So this is the first aspect of surrender. Second aspect of surrender, not to desire against the desire of God. Not to desire against the desire of God. Whatever we get in life is a result of our present and past karmas. However, the fruits of karmas do not come by themselves. God notes them down and gives the results at the appropriate time. Since God Himself dispenses the results of our karmas, we must learn to serenely accept them. Usually, when people get wealth, fame, pleasure, or luxuries in the world, they would forget the God. They would forget to thank the God and consider them as it is of their own making. If they suffer, then they will blame God. ये क्या कर दिया आपने? Complaining, why did God do this to me? The second aspect of surrender means not to complain about whatever God gives to us. Third aspect of surrender is to have firm faith that God is protecting us. God is eternal Father. In 9th Adhyaya, God has said, Pita hamasya jagato mata dhata pita maha. Isn't it? So He takes care of all living beings in creation. He is Pita of all. There are trillions of ants on this planet Earth, trillions and trillions of ants, small ants, and all of them need to eat regularly. Do you ever see that lakhs of ants in your garden have died because of starvation? No, every ant is getting food every day, trillions of them. God ensures that they are all provided their food. On the other hand, the elephants eat huge amount of food every day. God provides them also. God provides in the form of milk in the breast of mother for the newly born. He is so much worried about every jiva. Even a worldly father cares and provides for his children. Why then should we doubt whether our eternal Father, God, will not take care of us? Why should we worry about it? To have firm faith in His protection for us is the third aspect of surrender. Fourth aspect of surrender, to maintain an attitude of gratitude towards the God. To maintain an attitude of gratitude towards God. We have received so many priceless gifts from God. We don't care, that is a different issue. But we have received so many priceless gifts from God. The earth that we walk upon, gift of God. The sunlight with which we see, gift of God. The air that we breathe, gift of God. And the water that we drink, these are all granted to us by God, all given to us by God. In fact, it is because of Him that we exist. He has brought to us, He had brought us to the life and imparted consciousness in our soul. We are not paying Him any tax in return. आपने सनलाइट दिया, ये शाम का तक का बिल ले लो, पैसा ले लो. Do we pay anything to the God for these wonderful gifts? But we must at least feel deeply indebted for all that He has given to us. Kritanyata bhav, that is a must. So attitude of gratitude, this is the sentiment of gratitude. We should constantly have that gratitude for God. The reverse of this is the sentiment of ungratefulness. For example, a father does so much for his child. The child is told to be grateful to father for all this. होना चाहिए ना? But if the child responds, why should I be grateful? My father's father, he did for his son, that means my father. So my father is doing for me. So what is great about it? This is the ingratitude towards the worldly father. To be grateful towards God, our eternal Father, for all that He has given to us, is the fourth aspect of surrender. Fifth aspect of surrender, to see everything that we possess as belonging to God. To see everything that we possess as belonging to the God. God created this entire universe, isn't it? It existed even before we were born and it will continue to exist even when we are no more. Hence, the true owner of everything in the universe is God alone. When we think something belongs to us, we forget the proprietorship of God. For example, let us say someone comes to your house when you are not at home. He wears your clothes. He eats the food out of your refrigerator and sleeps on your bed. On returning, you ask him angrily, what have you been doing in my house? अंदर कैसे घुस गए? And you are using my clothes, using my food, using my bed for sleeping? That person will say, I have not damaged anything. I have just used it. I have not damaged anything. I have merely used everything properly. Why are you getting so annoyed? Then you will reply, you may not have destroyed anything, but it all belongs to me. ये घर मेरा है. If you use it without my permission, you are a thief. Similarly, this world and everything in this world, it belongs to God. To remember this principle and give our sense of proprietorship to God is the fifth aspect of surrender. And the last, sixth aspect of surrender is to give up the pride of being surrendered. All 5 types of surrender, aspects of surrenders we have followed, but it may generate some kind of pride in our mind. क्या भक्त हो गया मैं? I grasped all 5 aspects of surrender and I am a true surrender fellow. You should not have that pride also. To give up the pride of being surrendered. If we become proud of the good deeds that we have done, the pride soils our heart and undoes the good that we have done. That is why it is important to keep an attitude of humbleness. If I was able to do something good, it was only because God inspired my intellect in the right direction. Left to myself, I know I'm a wayward person and would never have been able to do all that. God has got it done for me. To keep such an attitude of humility is the sixth aspect of surrender. If we can perfect these 6 points, 6 aspects of surrender, principles of surrender, we will fulfill God's condition. Aptamev sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapti shashvatam. So when you fulfill these conditions, God will bestow His grace on us. Isn't it? That is the meaning of this shloka. Next shloka. Idete jnanam akhyadam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrushaytadasheshena yadechasi tatha kuru. God says, thus, iti, I have explained to you this knowledge that is more secret than all the secrets. Guhyat guhyataram. Guhyat guhyataram. Secret than all secrets. Vimrushayta dasheshena. Asheshena, completely ponder over it. Have a deep thinking of whatever I have said to you. Yadechasi kuru. And then you do whatever you want. Whatever you deem fit, you do it. What an example of humbleness said by Shri Krishna. After telling the entire Bhagavad Gita, after satisfying all questions of Arjuna, he is not forcing Arjuna into doing what he has asked him to do. He is leaving it to the good senses of Arjuna. Yete chise da karo. तुमको जो करना है वो करो तुम अभी. मैंने बताने का काम किया, करने का काम तुमका है, तुम्हारा है. You can do whatever you want to do. Now the question is, what is the secret about Gita? Guhyat guhyataram. God has said, Guhyat guhyataram. That means all the knowledge that we acquired in Gita up to this shloka is Guhyat guhyataram. So what is the secret about Gita? A Gita book is available for 10 rupees in the market. Sometimes even free also. Anybody and everybody can read it. So what is the secret about it? Guhyat guhyataram, God says. Normally what is Guhya? What is secret? A secret is that information which is not accessible to majority of people. Then we call it secret. If something which is known to all, how can you call it secret? Guhya. Most of the laws of physics were secret until a few centuries ago. And many still continue to be secret. Because we don't know that is what is hiding behind them. Spiritual knowledge is profound and is not realizable through direct perception. Gita is not a novel. It's not a story book that you will read and understand the plot and the story. Spiritual knowledge is profound. Gita is profound. It is to be learned through Guru and through scriptures. Hence it is described as secret. In second Adhyay, Sri Krishna had revealed the knowledge of the soul, which is Guhya, secret knowledge. All the shlokas of Naina Chindan Shastrani, Naina Nandipavaga, Avyakto, Yamachintyo, Yamavikaryo, they are all secret, Guhya. In Adhyay 7 and 8, he explained knowledge of his powers, which is Guhyataram, Guhyatara, or more secret. In Adhyay 9, Rajavidya Rajaguyog, and subsequent Adhyayas, he revealed the knowledge of his Bhakti, which is Guhyatam, or most secret. Shri Krishna is now concluding Bhagavad Gita in this 18th Adhyay. Having spoken most of the shlokas in this Adhyay, including imparting the most secret knowledge to Arjuna, He now leaves the choice in the hands of Arjuna. He says, I have revealed to you the profound and confidential knowledge. Now the choice is in your hands. Lord Rama made a similar statement to the residents of Ayodhya. He invited them all for his discourse. In that discourse, he explained to them the purpose of human life and the way to accomplish that purpose. In the end, Bhagwan Ram concluded saying, the advice that I have given to you is neither incorrect nor coercive. Listen to it carefully, contemplate over it, and then do what you wish. Yathet chisitatha kuru. This free will to choose between the available options has been given to the soul by God. God is not forcing anything on us. Free will is a boon given to us. If there is a boon or a curse, depends on us. The freedom of choice is not infinite, but our choices are limited by our past and present karmas. However, we do possess a certain amount of free will. We are not machines in the hands of God. Sometimes people question that if God had not given us the free will, we would not have done anything wrong then. Anything evil in the life we would not have done. If the God had not given us free will. Free will लेके सब हो गया ना. Free will दिया तो we keep dancing to our tunes, to our free will, and then commit so many evil things in life. If God had not given free will, then we would not have been doing all that. But then we would not have done anything good either. The opportunity to do something good always comes with the danger of doing something evil. More importantly, God wants us to love Him. If He forces something on us, we'll say, "ये तो dictator हो गया, God नहीं है, ये तो dictator हो गया." We don't like dictators, isn't it? So God wants us to love Him, and love is only possible when there is a choice. A machine cannot love because it has no freedom of choice. God created us with free will and provided us the choices so as we may choose Him and thereby exercise our love for Him. The choice is given to us. Even the all-powerful God cannot force the soul to love Him and surrender to Him. He has given that free will to us. He says this decision must be made by the soul itself. Imagine if God would not have given this free will to all, then all the 8 billion population of the earth, if everybody had the same nature, everybody would become a robot with no variety in their nature, how the world would look like. Today the variety of world is charming, no? If everybody becomes a robot, no free will, only obeying the will of God, then the world will become a boring place to live. God has given a free will to us that we make this life more enjoyable and more colorful. But that does not mean we should use free will in a wrong way. Here Sri Krishna Bhagavan is asking Arjuna's attention to his free will, Yathet Guru, and asking him to choose. Knowledge giving, I have done my job. Doing, you have to do. So think over it completely. Asheshena, Vimbrasheta Sheshena, Yathet Guru, and then do whatever you feel right. So God is great, very humble also. Next sloka. Sarvagayyatamam bhuya shruname paramam vachah ishtosi me dridamiti tato vakshyami te hitam. Here again, shruname, my supreme instructions, hear them again. The most confidential of all knowledge. I am revealing this for your benefit because you are very dear to me. Ishtosme dridamiti tato vakshyami te hitam. For your benefit, I am telling because you are Ishta to me. See, a teacher may know the deepest secret of the subject that he is teaching, but he does not necessarily reveal it all to the students. Before sharing, he considers many things, such as the preparedness of the student to receive it, to comprehend it, and then benefit from it. In the beginning of Bhagavad-Gītā, Arjuna was bewildered by problems facing him. We saw it in first adhyaya and second adhyaya, beginning of second adhyaya. And then he asked for guidance from Sri Krishna. The Lord enlightened him with great care and consideration, uplifting his understanding. From Shloka Ashokchanam Shruti Sampradaya Madasha Bhasate Gatasum Gatasum Nanu Shruti Pandita, God started uplifting his moral little by little. Through all 18 adhyayas, Shri Krishna Bhagavan has done all this. Having seen Arjuna receiving the message so well and asked freely whenever he had certain problems of understanding problems, Shri Krishna Bhagavan now feels confident that he will be able to grasp the final and the most profound knowledge as well. So he says, Sarva Guhyatamam Bhuya Shrunve Paramacha. I will give you that knowledge. Further he says, Ishtos me dhrudamiti, meaning I am speaking this to you because you are my very dear friend. So I care for you deeply and sincerely desire in your best interest. So what is that Guhyataram knowledge God wants to give? We'll see that. Before that, Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto Madhya Jiman Namaskuru Mame Vaishyasi Satyante Pratijane Priyo Sime. Is this that knowledge? No, this he has given in earlier adhyayas also. Always think of me, be devoted to me, worship me, and offer obeisances, namaskaram, to me. Doing so, you will certainly come to me. Mami Vaishyasi Satyante Pratijane Priyo Sime. Pratijane, this is my pledge to you. God is making a pledge to his bhaktas. Normally the reverse of it should happen. This is my pledge to you because you are very dear to me. In Adhyay 9th also there is a similar slok. Man manava bhakto madhyaji manno skru mameshi yuktu atmanam matparayana. Isn't it? The first line is same here also. Man manava bhakto madhyaji manno skru mameshi satyante pradijane priyo. So, in 9th Adhyay also, God had promised Arjuna that he will reveal to him the most secret knowledge and then had gone on to describe the glories of bhakti. In 9th Adhyay, God has said, engage in devotion to me. By developing deep love for Shri Krishna and having his mind always absorbed in exclusive devotion to him, Arjuna will be assured of attaining supreme destination. That was the slogan in 9th Adhyay. Manmana bhavam bhakto madhya jiman namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktavam atmanam mat parayana. Now here God says, God is making a pledge that always think of me, always remain devoted to me, worship me, offer your obeisances to me, and then you will certainly come to me. This is my pledge to you, my promise to you. God is making a promise to his bhakta because you are very dear to me. So fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, worship me, bow to me. So this is the context of this shloka. In this shloka, Shri Krishna Bhagavan gives Arjuna the essence of Gita. Single-pointed devotion is the essence of Gita. Wholehearted surrender is the essence of Gita. And loving remembrance of the divine is the essence of Gita. Long ago, in the foothill village near Himalaya, lived a young shepherd. Let us name him Rohit. His name was Rohit. Okay. Rohit had a unique problem. He worried too much, like we worry. He worried about his sheep, about the weather, about whether the wolves would come, about whether he would earn enough to care for his aging parents. His mind was always racing. One evening, he was bringing his flock, his sheep home. A terrible storm gathered. The sky turned charcoal dark. Thunder cracked like earth breaking apart. The sheep panicked and scattered. Rohit's heart started pounding. Got scared. What do I do first? Where do I run? Where will they go, all the ships? In the lightning flashes, he saw an old hermit walking calmly along the ridge with a small lantern in his hand. Everyone in the village knew this hermit. His name was Rishi Devadatta, a man who lived in deep meditation most of the time. Rohit called out, Rishiji, please help me. The sheep are running everywhere and I cannot see a thing in this storm. The storm will swallow us. The hermit smiled gently and raised his lantern. Follow the light, he said. Don't chase the ship. When you walk steadily, then you will return, they will return to you. Stay behind this lantern. Rohit hesitated. How can one tiny lantern help me in this endless storm? But he trusted that Rishi Devadatta more than his own panic. So he fixed his eyes on the little flame and walked. Something surprising happened. With every step he took, focusing only on the lantern, the storm seemed to be less frightening. Storm was same, but it seemed less frightening. His breath steadied. Slowly, the ship began gathering behind him, one after the other. The wind also still hollowed, the wind was still strong, but Rohit's fear melted as he kept his eyes on the gentle glow of that lantern. When they finally reached the village shelter, Rohit said, Guruji, I would have lost everything today. How did this simple lantern save me? The Rishiji replied, Son, this lantern did not save you. Your single pointed focus saved you. That is what God is asking in this shloka. Single pointed focus. When the mind chases many things, it becomes stormy. When it holds onto one guiding light, it becomes powerful. The Rishiji then added, in life, keep the Lord as your lantern. Remember Him, surrender to Him, love Him, and the storms will arrange themselves. You don't worry about the storms in life then. You simply keep walking. Looking at the lantern. Lantern is God. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan tells to Arjuna in this shloka, fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, worship me, bow down to me, you will come to me. This is my promise. Pratijane priyosi me. So this small story what we discussed, the lantern is Shri Krishna's presence. This is anecdote, no? So we should try to find out the parallel about this shloka and that anecdote what we discussed. So the lantern in that story is Shri Krishna Bhagavan's presence. Rohit's fear is Arjuna's confusion. Single pointed focus on the light of that lantern represents devotion. When Rohit follows the lantern, the world falls into place. Just as Krishna assures that surrender and remembrance bring harmony and liberation. However, this is not the most confidential knowledge that Shri Krishna Bhagavan is referring to. First, because he, as I said, he has already given this knowledge in the earlier Adhyaya also, 9th Adhyaya also he said similar thing. He will reveal that in the next shloka as to what that knowledge is. Next shloka, very important shloka. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja ahantva sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma shuchaha. This is a wonderful slok. I got it written on the wall of my puja ghar, this slok. God says, abandon all varieties of dharma and simply surrender to me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Masha, don't worry, don't fear. All along in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna Bhagavan had been asking Arjuna to do two things. Two things simultaneously. One, engage his mind in devotion and engage his body in fulfilling his material duty as a warrior. He thus urged Arjuna not to give up his Kshatriya dharma, but to do devotion alongside it. Mamanusmar Yudhyacha, that we learned in 8th Adhyaya. So keep fighting and keep remembering me also. Do your Kartavya karma and then keep remembering me also. This is the principle of Karma Yoga. Now Shri Krishna Bhagavan reverses his teaching in this shloka, saying that there is no need even to fulfill the material dharma. Sarvadharman parityaja, chodo sab. Arjuna can renounce all material duties and simply surrender to God. That is what God is saying now. This is the principle of karma sannyas. Earlier, karma yoga. Now this is the principle of karma sannyas. Here one question may come up, that if we give up material dharma, we will incur sin or not. Kartavya karma chhod diya, Shall we incur sin or not? Shri Krishna tells Arjuna not to fear. Mashuja, don't worry, don't fear. He will absolve him from all sins and liberate him from the material existence. To understand this instruction of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, we need to understand the term dharma. What is that dharma, Sarva Dharman Parityajya? It comes from the root word dhri. Dhri means dharne yogya, dharan karne yogya, pakadne yogya. Responsibilities, duties, thoughts, actions that are appropriate for us is the dharma. Now there are actually two kinds of dharma. One is material dharma and another is spiritual dharma. These two kinds of dharmas are based on two different understandings of the self. If we identify ourselves as body, then our dharma is determined in accordance with our material designations, obligations, duties and norms. Hence, serving our physical parents, fulfilling responsibilities towards society or even the country are all parts of our material dharma. This is also called aparadharma. Para and apara we learn in 7th Adhyaya Gita, or the material dharma. This includes dharma as a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. However, when identifying ourselves as soul, we no longer have designation of Varna, social class or ashram, our status in life. Hence, our one and only one dharma, if we are considering ourselves as soul and not body, it becomes living devotional service to the God. This is called paradharma or the spiritual dharma. If one leaves the material dharma, it is considered a sin due to avoidance of duty. But if one leaves material dharma and takes shelter of spiritual dharma, it is not a sin. Now the question is, why Shri Krishna Bhagavan did not give this instruction to Arjuna earlier? Sarva Dharma Parityajya, pehle bol dena chahiye tha na. Why did he seem to give new understanding now, which is seemingly opposite to the instructions given in earlier Adhyaya, 5th Adhyaya, for example, where he stated that Karma Yoga is better than Karma Sannyas. Tostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yoga Vishishyate. That he has said in 5th Adhyaya. Lord Shri Krishna will explain this in the next shloka as to why he is saying this now. Before that, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamikam Sharanam Braja Ahantva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayashyama Shuja. Abandon all dharmas and take refuge in me alone. I shall free you from all sins. Do not fear. In ancient kingdom, there lived a noble but exhausted king named Vikrant. He was a good ruler, beloved by his people, but he had one flaw. He believed he alone must manage everything. Every decision, every dispute, every crisis, he alone should manage everything. Whenever ministers offered help, he would say, no. A king must carry out full weight of his kingdom. It is my duty, my dharma. I alone will handle it. Years went and the burdens grew. Famine one year, rebellion the next year, economic troubles, border attacks. The king barely slept, barely ate. His mind was burning like a forest fire. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, he wandered into the palace garden, overwhelmed by the situations around him. Then he found a royal sage. His name was Rishi Surya Deva. Calmly watering a small sapling, Surya Deva was there. The king said bitterly to him, Rishiji, I feel like I am drowning. Duty is crushing me. But if I abandon my dharma, the kingdom will crumble. The sage handed the king the clay pot filled with water. Hold this pot with your arms outstretched. Vikrant held it. It felt light. But after a few minutes, the king's arms began trembling. The pot felt heavier. We explain this. Within 5 minutes, his arms collapsed and water spilled everywhere. The sage asked gently, "Did the pot become heavier?" King said, "No, my strength failed." Then the sage smiled. "That is exactly what is happening to you, king. The burden of life never grows heavier. It is the ego that insists on holding them alone that grows weaker." The sage then added, "If you had simply placed the pot on the ground, it would have remained safe. Would you insisted keeping in your own hands? Similarly, if you place your burden on Lord, everything will remain safe." The king looked puzzled. "But how can a ruler abandon his dharma?" The sage replied, "You misunderstand Krishna's teaching in this shloka. He does not ask you to drop responsibility. He asks you to drop the false sense of doership. That is Sarvadharma Pariteja. Just as you place the pot on the ground, place the I am doing everything ego at his feet. That is Sarvadharma Pariteja." The word struck the king like lightning. Over the next few months, Vikrant changed. He still performed all his duties, but with a calm heart. He consulted his ministers, delegated them wisely, and most importantly, he began each action by saying, "Oh Lord, this is yours, not mine. Guide me." His decisions grew clearer. His mind became more peaceful. The kingdom flourished. One day he told the sage, "I did not abandon my dharma, I abandoned my anxiety about dharma." So in this anecdote, Krishna's message becomes simple. Abandon all dharmas. That means give up the ego of burden of I alone must do everything. You don't do anything actually. Surrender to me. Offer your actions, responsibilities and outcome to the divine. "I will free you from all sins." He removes the fear, the guilt, the confusion and karmic weight of our karmas. Do not fear, Mashita. The mind becomes fearless when it stops imagining that I am the only doer. The king's transformation models Arjuna's transformation when he will finally say, "All my nashtamostur labdhatvat prasadan maya chudasirasmi sandeh karishya vachanantava." Okay, next shloka. "Idante nadavaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana naja shushrushave vachan nachama yobhyasuyati." This instruction should never be explained to those who are not austere, na tapa, not to those who are not devoted, na bhaktaya. It should also not be spoken to those who are averse to listening the spiritual topics, and especially not to those who are envious of me. It was explained in the previous shloka by Lord Shri Krishna that if one is situated in living devotion to the God, there is no sin in giving up the material duties. We discussed that. However, there is one problem with this instruction. If we have not yet come in love with God and we prematurely give up our material duties, we will neither be here nor there. We are not performing our material duties and we are not performing our spiritual duties. Na idhar na udhar. Dhobi ka kutta, na ghar ka, na ghat ka. Thus, karma sannyas is only for those who are qualified for it. And what we are qualified for is determined by our Guru, who knows our capabilities. The stringencies of spiritual path, our Guru knows. If a student wishes to become a graduate, he will not go directly to the university and attend graduation ceremony. He will become by studying standard 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, isn't it? Sequentially he will study. Similarly, a vast majority of people are eligible for karma yoga. It would be a great folly for them to prematurely take karma sannyas. It is better to instruct them to fulfill their material dharma and practice devotion alongside. Mamanusmara Yuddheja. That is why in this shloka, Sri Krishna Bhagavan says that this confidential knowledge, teaching given by him is not for everyone. Sarvadharan Paritejya is not for everyone. Before sharing it with others, we should check their eligibility for their teaching. The word of caution applies specifically for the confidential teaching of the previous shloka and in general for the entire Bhagavad Gita knowledge. If it is explained to someone who is envious of Lord Shri Krishna, that person may respond. क्या बोलेगा? Shri Krishna Bhagavan is very conceited, highly egoistic. He kept asking Arjuna to constantly glorify him. By misunderstanding the teachings in Gita, the faithless listener will be harmed by this divine message. The Padma Purana also says the same thing. It says, by giving transcendental knowledge instructions to those who are faithless and averse to God, we cause them to become offenders. And Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, describe the disqualification for listeners of this shloka. Further, Shlok 68, Ye imam paramam guhyam adbhakta shvavidasyati bhaktim mayim parang krutva mame vaishyatya samshayaha. Amongst my devotees, those who teach this most confidential knowledge perform the greatest act of love. Bhaktim mayim parang krutva. They will come to me without doubt. Mame vaishyatya asamshayaha. Shri Krishna Bhagavan now declares the consequences of properly preaching the message of Gita. He says, such preachers attain his para-bhakti, bhakti mayim parang, and then attain him. Attain his para-bhakti and then mami vaishyatya samshaya. Without doubt they attain him. The opportunity to engage in devotion is a blessing of God. God has given us this blessing that we are studying Gita. Without his blessing, we would not have come here. But the opportunity to help others engage in devotion is even bigger. That blessing is even bigger, which attracts the special grace of God. Whenever we share something good with others, we benefit from that too. पढ़ाने से ज़्यादा सीखता है आदमी. What I was knowing about Gita 5 years back and what I know after starting Vivechan, there is a big difference in that. I have learned more by teaching than by my own self-study. So whenever we share whatever knowledge we have with others, grace, our knowledge increases as well. By often giving food to others, we never go hungry ourselves. Sant Kabir has said, wealth does not decrease by giving it in charity. A river does not become narrow though people take water from it. He says, I am not saying this without basis. See it for yourself in the world. That's true also. Thus, those who share the spiritual knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with others receive the highest blessings themselves. Next shloka. न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्मादन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि. No human being does more living service to me than they, nor shall there be anyone on this earth more dear to me. न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्माद् अन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि. Of all the gifts we give to others, the gift of spiritual knowledge is one of the highest because it has the capacity to transform the life of the recipient eternally. Now you can realize this yourself. Remember the day when you first joined Gita Pariwar and registered yourself for L1, 12th and 15th Adhyaya Bhakti Yoga and Purushottama Yoga. And today when you have traveled for so many months and come to the end of Gita 18th Adhyaya, what has changed in you? Do some introspection, Swadhyay. The change which you yourself have noticed and also noticed by people around you. Change in learning after learning Bhagavad Gita is imminent. Nobody can avoid it. King Janak asked a question to his guru once. The transcendental knowledge bestowed upon me is so precious that I feel deeply indebted to you for giving this spiritual knowledge. What can I give you in return? His Guru Ashtavakra, he replied, there is nothing you can give that will relinquish you from your debt. The knowledge I gave you was divine, and all that you possess is material. Worldly objects can never be a price for the divine knowledge. But you can do one thing. If you ever find someone who is thirsty of this knowledge, please share this with him. In this shloka, Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā says the same thing. He speaks of the highest form of devotion, not merely worship, rituals, meditation, or personal discipline, but sharing spiritual wisdom with others. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā declares that the one who teaches Gita's message, who helps others understand the truth of self, the truth of duty, the truth of devotion, and the truth of liberation, moksha mukti, becomes most beloved to him. This shloka reveals how deeply Lord values spiritual service done for the upliftment of the humanity. The Gita is not just a philosophical text. It's not a philosophical text. It is a manual for living with clarity, with righteousness, and with inner freedom. Therefore, anyone who helps spread its light becomes an instrument in God's compassion. By teaching the Gita, one helps remove ignorance, which Shri Krishna identifies as the root cause of suffering. Isn't it? After learning Gita, we have started getting rid of our ajnan. That is the purpose Shri Krishna Bhagavan has. Such a person becomes a guide, a torchbearer, and a carrier of divine knowledge that can transform lives. Importantly, Shri Krishna Bhagavan is not referring only to the formal teachers or scholars. विवेचन करके हो गया great, ऐसा नहीं है. Anyone, whether through words, through actions, or examples, who encourages others towards this truth, towards righteousness, towards devotion, performs this sacred service. Even sharing one's insight, clearing one doubt, or inspiring one mind counts as teaching. Why is such a person most dear to Krishna? Because they align themselves with his mission. The preservation of dharma and the spiritual welfare of all is the mission of Lord Krishna. If anyone is helping him in his mission, he will definitely become dearest to him. They act without selfish motives, dedicating their efforts to the upliftment of others. This is the highest form of karma yoga, combined with bhakti and jnana. Thus, this shloka honors the role of spiritual teachers and emphasizes the profound responsibility and the blessings that come with sharing divine knowledge. Through this such service, one becomes a channel of Krishna's love and grace in the world. Now, on a lighter note, I must say, why do you think that all members of Gita Pariwar are so dedicated on this free service? Nobody gets a rupee. Normally people don't do anything for free, no? But in Gita Pariwar, everybody does everything for free. They are competing with each other to offer some seva. Whatever little they can do, they want to do it. Members are disparate. Somebody wants to become trainer, somebody wants to become tech, somebody wants to become GC, BC, all that. Some seva, हमको कुछ सेवा देने दो, उसको सेवा देने दो. Why? This shloka is the answer. We all want to become Shri Krishna's dear ones. That's why we're running to become his dear one. However, those who offer such seva on Bhagavad Gita should never feel that they are doing something very great. गीता के 4 क्लास ले लिए और मैं बहुत ग्रेट हो गया, मैं गीता विवेचक हो गया. That ahankar never helps you. Rather, it harms you. The proper attitude for them is to see oneself as an instrument in the hands of God and to accord all the credit to the grace of God for selecting him or her for offering this seva to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Next shloka, अध्येष्यते चैवं धर्मं संवादमावयोः ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहमिष्टस्यामिति मे मतिः. In fourth Adhyaya, Bhagavan has taught 12 types of Adhyaya, yajnas, 12 types of yajnas. Here also he is talking of one yajna. What is that? God says, and I proclaim that those who study this sacred dialogue of ours, that means Arjuna, you and me, what we have been speaking on this battlefield of Kurukshetra, that dialogue, they will worship me with their intellect. They will perform a jnana yajna for me. This is my view. Me matihi. So by studying Bhagavad Gita, by contemplating on Bhagavad Gita shlokas, we are performing a jnana yajna. What a great statement, no? Shri Krishna Bhagavan has repeatedly told Arjuna to surrender his intellect to him. In many adhyayas, in 8th adhyaya, 12th adhyaya, this adhyaya, last adhyaya, almost every adhyaya. This does not imply that we stop using our intellect. Rather, it means we utilize our intellect to the best of our ability in fulfilling his will for us. From the message of Bhagavad Gita, we understand what his will is. It is amply clear to us now. कर्तृत्वाभिमान छोड़ दो, कर्म फल की अपेक्षा छोड़ दो, keep performing your kartavya karma and keep remembering me also. These are the main 4 teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Hence, those who study this sacred dialogue worship God with their intellect. People whose intellect is deeply enrooted in this teachings of Bhagavad Gita, they are performing a jnana yajna for him. Now tell me, can there be any other easier means of performing a yajna for God? Read Gita every day and perform jnana yajna. As simple as that. We think that when we want to change our lives, we need to think something very big. But real change comes from combined effects of hundreds of small things. Reading Bhagavad Gita 2-3 adhyayas every day, is it a big task? Not a big task, no? It doesn't take more than 20 minutes to read 3 adhyayas. Some adhyayas you can finish in 3-4 minutes, 12th adhyaya, 15th adhyaya, 16th adhyaya, 24 sloks. Doesn't take much time. But as you read more and more, you start thinking about it more and more. And that is what is required. Contemplating on what we are reading. So how to bring small changes in life which will have big effect? The thing to think is about this. How can we apply this attitude in our life? If we get up, for example, at 6 o'clock in the morning every day, make a small change. Make a small change and get up at 5:45, 15 minutes earlier. We will be amazed to see how these 15 minutes can help us to redesign our daily activity calendar more effectively and bring a great change in us. 15 minutes. But it can change our calendar. Suppose you do 15 minutes pranayam or 15 minutes meditation, your life will be changed, no? Okay, next, 71. God says, Shraddhavan anasuyasya shrunayadapi yo naraha sopi muktashvan lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. Even those who listen to this knowledge, shrunu. आपको पढ़ते नहीं आता है संस्कृत, ठीक है, नहीं आता है, कोई बात नहीं है. You can at least listen to it. There are audios. You can listen to that. Even those who listen to this knowledge with faith and without envy will be liberated from the sins. Sopi mukta shubhan lokan prapnyat punya karmanam, and they will attain the auspicious abodes where the pious dwell. That means in the Svarga Loka. See, not everyone has the intellect to comprehend the depth of the importance of dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna. So many things are related to Jnana Yoga, which all of us may not be able to understand clearly. Kshetra Kshetra Vibhaga Yoga, 13th Adhyaya, quite difficult to understand. Here Shri Guru Bhagavan assures that if such people merely hear it with faith, they will also benefit. God is seated in them and He is noting down their sincere endeavors and He will reward them appropriately at appropriate time. So Shrunu, at least listen to it. Further, कच्चिदेदच्युतं पार्थ त्वैकाग्रेण चेतसा कच्चिदज्ञानसम्मोहः प्रणश्यस्ते धनञ्जयो. Now God is asking a question. Arjuna, have you heard me with a concentrated mind? Tvaikagrena chetasa. Have your ignorance and your illusion been dispelled? Kachidanyana asammohas pranashyaste. Dhananjaya, Arjuna. So Krishna Bhagavan has taken the position of being Arjuna's teacher, his guide. And it is natural of the teacher to inquire whether the student has grasped the subject or not. That is what Sri Krishna Bhagavan is asking. इतना बता दिया तुमको, अभी तुमको समझ में कितना आया देखो. Have you understood what I have said? That is what he is asking Arjuna. Sri Krishna's intention of asking the question is that if Arjuna has not understood something, he is ready to re-explain. That is the patience Sri Krishna is displaying. If you still have questions, I am here to satisfy. Keep on asking till your doubts are all removed. I am prepared to go into further details. Will Arjuna ask some questions more? Probably then Gita would have spread to another 5-6 adhyayas. Maybe we would have got 25 adhyaya Gita. But Arjuna is now fully satisfied with all the knowledge that he acquired from Lord in this 18 adhyaya Gita. Next shloka, Arjuna says, for which all Gita lovers are waiting. This is that shloka. Arjuna vacha nashto mohasmirlabdhat patprasadan mayachito sidosmita sandeha karishye vachanantavo. All along Arjuna has been asking questions. Now here is declaring nashto mohasmirlabdha patprasadan mayachito sidosmita sandeha karishye vachanantavo. Arjuna says, O infallible Achyuta, by your grace, tat prasadat, my illusion has been dispelled and I am situated in knowledge. Sthitosmi, gata sandeha, sab sandeha khatam ho gaye. I am now free from doubts and I shall act according to your instructions. Karishye vachanan tava. Aapne jo bataya hai, I will act according to that only. This shloka marks one of the most powerful turning points in the entire Bhagavad Gita. It is the moment when Arjuna, who began the dialogue drowned in grief, in confusion and moral paralysis, finally regains his clarity, conviction and inner strength. After hearing all 18 chapters of Gita from Lord Krishna, who taught him the Gita, their spanning karma, then devotion, renunciation, sannyas, meditation, three gunas of prakriti, sattva, raja, tamo, and the soul's nature, nature, traniya, vyaktam, jintavyam, all that, and God's cosmic form, which we see in the 11th Adhyaya of Gita, the ultimate path of surrender also has been explained in Gita. Now Arjuna transforms from a broken warrior into a spiritually awakened hero. He says, Gata Sandhya, all Sandhya are gone now. Arjuna begins by saying, my delusion is destroyed. Delusion is moha. Was Arjuna's primary problem. In chapter 1 we know attachment to relationship, fear of sin, concern for social consequences, identification with body and emotional exhaustion. Sri Krishna's teaching did not change the external situation. What is what? He did not change the external situation. The battle is still there. But he transformed Arjuna's inner vision. The destruction of illusion signifies the removal of false perceptions. That death is the end? No, death is not the end. That relationships are permanent? No, relationships are not permanent. The emotions should dictate the duty? No, never. Emotions should never dictate the duty. And that one's individual ego is the doer? No. Individual's ego is not the doer. It is the prakriti under which he is working. Prakriti is getting it done from us. Next, Arjuna says, my memory is restored. Here, memory, smriti, does not mean collection of past events, not that memory. It means spiritual memory. The inner awareness of one's true nature as the eternal soul. He has forgotten, all of us had forgotten this till we read Gita again. that we are the soul, not the body. This is Gata that Smriti, that he has got it again. So this particular spiritual memory, the inner awareness of one's true nature is as the eternal self of one's purpose, Swadharma, and of the divine presence guiding the life is what he has regained. Memory is restored. When this memory is restored, the mind regains its original clarity and stability. Shri Krishna Bhagavan, grace functions not as an external miracle, but as the light of knowledge that realigns Arjuna's understanding. Then Arjuna is declaring, I stand firm and doubt-free. Doubt is sandeha. Sandeha becomes the willpower and leads to inaction. When there is a confused mind, you start sitting idle. Through Krishna's teaching, Arjuna's doubts about duty, about righteousness, about life, about death, and the path to liberation have been dissolved. A doubt-free mind is more powerful because it is united, integrated, and capable of decisive action. Finally, Arjuna ends with the ultimate sign of transformation. I will act according to your words. Karishye vachanam tava. This is the final declaration from Arjuna. This is surrender, not helplessness. Surrender is not helplessness, but in strength. He is announcing it in strength, not in the mode of surrender. Arjuna now acts with wisdom, with devotion, and with detachment. He steps into the battle not out of anger or ambition, but out of alignment with the divine will. Arjuna says, my delusion is destroyed, my memory, true understanding is restored. I stand free, firm from doubt, and I will act according to your words. This is the moment of Arjuna's awakening. The moment of the entire Gita has been building towards. This is that moment. Let us discuss one small anecdote to understand this sloka even better. A young mountaineer, his name was Arav. He was training under a legendary Himalayan guide. His name was Master Rudra. Arav dreamed of scaling a difficult peak in Himalaya called Mrityunjaya, which many believed to be unclimbable. After weeks of harsh training and unpredictable weather, Arav and Rudra finally began to ascend on that. The journey was steep, icy, and exhausting. Halfway the mountain, a sudden blizzard hit. Visibility dropped to almost zero. The icy wind screamed like spirits. Arav froze, not because of the cold, but because fear seized his mind. He could not see the path. He could not hear his guru's instructions clearly. He felt paralyzed. He wondered if the climb itself was meaningless. Where jate hain वापस? He questioned his ability, his strength. Can I do this? Do I have the strength? Even his decision to begin the journey at all, he started questioning. Was I right in deciding to come? Just like Arav on the battlefield, Arjuna also started feeling like clouded with fear, confusion, and emotional paralysis. Master Rudra, he saw Arav's trembling and motionlessness. He placed firm hand on his shoulder, a silent reminder that he was not alone. I am with you, don't worry. He leaned close and said loudly to Arav, stop trying to see the whole path. Find the next stone. Step on it. The path reveals itself only when the climb trusts and acts. Climber should have that trust. You as a climber should trust. Put your foot on the next stone. Arav, still trembling, looked down. Through the blinding snow, he just saw one rock, one step. He placed his shaky foot on that. Then he saw another one, and another one, and then another one. The fog did not lift immediately, but something inside Arav did change. He began to trust Rudra's voice. his training, and he started believing in himself also, that yes, I can do it. Step by step, he climbed with renowned determination. Hours later, they reached the summit. The blizzard had cleared. The skies opened like a blessing. The world stretched out in golden light below them. Arav stood still, overwhelmed. He understood something profound. The fog was not the real enemy. His fear and self-doubt were the real barriers. The mountain had never been unscalable. His mind had been unscalable. He looked at his guru and said, Master, my fear is gone. My mind is clear. I now understand what was always within me. From here on, I trust and act. This statement, it mirrors Arjuna's awakening, what we have read in this shloka. Nashto mohasudirlabda tat prasadad mayachita tosmigda santehe karishye vachanantava. My delusion is destroyed, my clarity has returned, I am free from doubt, and I will now act as per your command. So this anecdote highlights the Gita's teaching in this shloka particularly. Confusion and fear are like fog. They blind us, confusion and fear. True clarity comes when the heart becomes steady. Guidance, like Shri Krishna's, becomes effective only when the listener opens up. Otherwise, Gita was heard by Dhritarashtra also, but he did not open up. It did not change him at all. Action becomes powerful only when rooted in understanding. Arav did not conquer the mountain, he conquered the fog within himself. Arjuna, he conquered the fear, the doubt, the confusion in himself. So the essence of this small anecdote is the blizzard is Arjuna's grief and confusion. The fog and clouded vision is the moha, delusion. Master Rudra's guidance is Bhagavan Shri Krishna's teachings. Seeing the next step, clarity returning, Sprutir Labdha. Reaching the summit, Arjuna's inner awakening. And Arav's commitment to proceed is Karishye Vachanantava. So this shloka represents the complete journey of the devotee, of the seeker, from confusion to clarity, fear to faith, and ego-driven hesitation to soul-guided action. It is the perfect conclusion of Gita's spiritual teaching. Next shloka, Sanjayam vacha ityaham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanah samvadamimam shrosham adbhutam romaharshanam. Sanjay says, we'll take this shlokas quickly now because we have to cover the summary of entire Gita also. So Sanjay says, I have heard this wonderful conversation between Shri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, and Arjuna, the noble-hearted son of Pritha, that means Kunti. So thrilling is the message that my hair is standing on the end, Romanchit. In this way, Sanjay comes to the end of narration of the divine discourse of Bhagavad Gita. He refers to Arjuna as Mahatma, great soul, as he has heeded advice and instructions of Sri Krishna. That's why he is Mahatma. And hence has become eminently wise after attaining this much great knowledge of Gita. Sanjay now remarks how amazed and astounded he is on hearing this divine dialogue between Shri Krishna Bhagavan and Arjuna. The hair standing on the end is one of the signs of deep devotional fervor. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says there are 8 signs of devotional ecstasy. 1. Becoming stupefied and motionless. 2. Sweating. 3. Hair standing on the end, romanchit. 4. Choking of voice. 5. Trembling. 6. Color of the face becoming pale. 7. Shedding tears. And 8th, fainting. Sanjay is experiencing such intense devotional sentiments that his hair is bristling with divine joy. One may ask how it was possible for Sanjay to hear that dialogue which took place far off on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Sanjay is sitting in the palace of Dhritarashtra. He reveals that in the next shloka. व्यासप्रसादाच्युतमान् एतद्गुह्यमहं परं योगं योगेश्वरात् कृष्णात् साक्षात् कथयत स्वयं. By grace of Maharishi Vedavyas, I have heard the supreme and most secret yoga from the Lord of Yoga, Yogeshwara, Shri Krishna himself. Shri Krishna Dvaipayan Vyasadeva, also known as spiritual master of Sanjay. Bhagavan Vyas is the spiritual master of Sanjay. By grace of his guru, Maharishi Vedavyas, Sanjay had been blazed with the power of spiritualistic mind reader. That is called clairvoyance, spiritual mind reading. That is to know all that transpired on the battlefield of Kurukshetra while he sat in the royal palace of Hastinapur of Dhritarashtra. Sanjay acknowledges that it was due to his guru's mercy that he got the opportunity to hear the supreme science of yoga from the Lord of Yoga, Shri Krishna Bhagavan himself. Maharishi Vedavyas, the author of Brahma Sutras, the 18 Puranas, the Mahabharata, and other scriptures, was a descendant associate of God only, and possesses all the clairvoyant power himself. He is a spiritual mind reader himself. Thus he not only heard the conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, but also the one between Sanjay and Dhritarashtra. As a result, he included both conversations in compiling the Bhagavad Gita. Next sloka. Rajan Sanskritya Samskritya Samvadamimam Adbhutam Keshavarjunayah Punyam Rishyami cha Muhurmuhu. As I repeatedly recall this astonishing and wonderful dialogue between the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and Arjuna, O King, that means O Dhritarashtra, I rejoice again and again. Rishyami cha Muhurmuhu. A spiritual experience gives happiness that is far, 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 far more thrilling and satisfying than all the material enjoyments put together. Sanjay is rejoicing in such happiness and sharing his experiences with King Dhritarashtra. Reflecting and remembering the wonderful dialogue, he is feeling divine bliss. This indicates the sublimity, the mahatta, the badappan, the greatness of the knowledge contained in the scriptures and the divine Leela that Sanjay was able to witness himself. He is getting overwhelmed. Next sloka. Tatya Samsmritya Rupamatyadbhutam Harehe Vismayo me Mahan Rajan Rishyami cha Punah Punaha. And remembering that most astonishing and wonderful cosmic form, Virat Rup, that we see in the 11th Adhyay, Shri Krishna, the Virat Rup, great is my astonishment, and I am thrilled with joy over and over again. Rishyami cha Punah Punaha. Arjuna was blessed with the vision of cosmic form of Lord, which is rarely seen even by the greatest yogis. Shri Krishna told him that he was showing him the universal form because Arjuna was his devotee and his best friend, and thus very dear to him. Sanjay also came to see the cosmic form because he was fortunate to be a part of the divine Leela of God himself. Sanjay is a part of the divine Leela of God. As a narrator of that Leela, there are times when an unexpected grace comes our way also. If we utilize it properly, we can also progress rapidly in our sadhana, spiritual sadhana. Sanjay is repeatedly contemplating upon what he saw and is flowing in the current of devotion, being very overwhelmed. Last sloka of Gita, last sloka of this Adhyay. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanurdharaha tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruva nitir matir mamo. Wherever there is Lord Shri Krishna, the Lord of all yoga, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will certainly be unending opulence, victory, prosperity, and righteousness. Of this I am certain. The Bhagavad Gita concludes with this shloka, delivering a deep pronouncement. Dhritarashtra was apprehensive of the outcome of the war. That's why he wanted to hear it from Sanjay. Sanjay informs him that the material calculation of relative strength of Kaurava and Pandavas, the number of two armies, were irrelevant. Kaurava's army was much bigger than Pandava's army, but that is irrelevant. He announces there can only be one verdict of this war. Victory will always be on the side of God and his pure devotee. And so will goodness, supremacy, and abundance. God is independent, self-sustaining sovereign of the world, and the worthiest object of adoration and worship. In fact, Sanjay is declaring to Dhritarashtra, know for sure that it is Pandavas who will be victorious. The war will end in the victory of the sons of Pandu. Sanjay himself is very overwhelmed with all that he has heard and he has seen. Repeatedly remembering Lord's words, his magnificent form, he keeps rejoicing in excitement. Shri Krishna may have spoken to Arjuna, but Sanjay too listened it. He is a singularly attentive mind. And he communicated everything to King Dhritarashtra. So thus, in effect, there are three persons who heard Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna: Arjuna, Sanjay, and Dhritarashtra. Now, Arjuna being Sattva-guni, he was liberated instantaneously. Sanjay had the predominance of Rajoguna. Yet, due to grace of Vedavyas, Maharishi Vedavyas, he is experiencing the exhilarating, thrilling joy. But, being tamasi by nature, Dhritarashtra is still the same. He is still hankering about the victory of his sons, even after listening to the whole Gita. Thus he could not listen despite listening. He was not only physically blind, but intellectually deaf as well. As a consequence of not stopping the war, despite the declaration from Sanjay that Pandavas were going to win the war, he had finally immersed in deep grief and agony, witnessing destruction, devastation happening all around. He lost all his 100 sons. It was indeed his misfortune that despite listening to Shri Krishna Bhagavan's illuminating discourse, he could not take himself out from the swamp of attachment. The gist of the matter is, mere listening of Gita will not be beneficial to those who are of tamasic disposition. There is some hope for Rajasic people only if they are endeavoring to purify their intellect. But if they are working towards deepening their faith, then yes, it may help them. The Sattvic individuals, however, amongst the people will be experiencing the state of Sanjay, if not Arjuna. So Gita can transform us. It depends on how our view is. Now this is the end of 18th Adhyay, end of Bhagavad Gita as well. But having come from Adhyay 1 to Adhyay 18, what have we learned? What are the important takeaways for us in each of these 18 Adhyayas? This is the time now to ponder over this and list down a few important messages of Gita to bring them in our day-to-day life. As Pujya Swamiji says, Gita padhe, padhaye aur jivan mein laye. You have already padhe the Gita. Many of you may be teacher, trainer also. Now how to bring it in the life? For that we need to know the takeaway of Bhagavad Gitas for us. The Bhagavad Gita is not merely a book. It is a living dialogue that unfolds repeatedly within every human heart. Gita is happening in our heart every day, every moment. It captures the moment when a person stands at crossroads of duty and doubt, actions and confusion, worldly life and spiritual aspirations. Across the 700 shlokas, Shri Krishna Bhagavan transforms Arjuna's despair into clarity, giving humanity one of its most universal guidebook on life, discipline, justice, devotion, and ultimate moksha, liberation. This deep dive explores the Gita thematically rather than merely chapter-wise, weaving teachings with important shlokas and expanding each into psychological and practical wisdom. So, Adhyaya 3rd is Karma Yoga. But does it mean Karma Yoga shlokas are not there in other Adhyayas? No, they are there. 3rd, 4th, 5th, many Adhyayas. Karma Yoga shlokas are there. So we should divide it based on the understanding that we derive from the entire Bhagavad Gita. Part 1, the context. Why Gita begins with confusion? First Adhyay, confusion, Arjuna's confusion. The Gita does not begin with wisdom. It begins with a collapse, moral collapse of Arjuna. Arjuna, the greatest warrior, a man raised on dharma, truth, courage, is suddenly paralyzed by emotional breakdown. His bow slips, his legs tremble, and tears blur his vision. Gandhya Sanskriਤੇ हस्तात् पक्षै परदयते न च शक्नोमि वसतं भ्रवति मज्मना and Ashnupurna collection. He says, my mind is reeling, my limbs fail, my skin burns, my bow slips from my hand. This opening chapter is crucial. The Gita acknowledges human vulnerability before offering spiritual strength. Arjuna's crisis symbolizes the crisis every human being faces: confusion about responsibility, fear of consequences, emotional conflict, paralyzing overthinking, attachment to relationships, and moral dilemmas. Thus, in the first major takeaway is honest confusion is the doorway to transformation. Shri Krishna's teachings begin only when Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho padanasvava prachami tvandarva sammuda chetaha yachriyasyanishidam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadiman tvam prapannam. I surrender to you, please guide me. Shishyasteham shadiman tvam prapannam. I surrender to you, I become your shishya, please guide me. Spiritual learning requires humility. The Gita is not for those who think they already know everything. It is for those who are willing to listen. This is the takeaway. Part number 2. The immortal self, our Atma, soul, the foundation of fearlessness. Before Shri Krishna Bhagavan teaches, he first establishes the eternal identity of human beings. You are not body, he says. You are the imperishable soul. This is the cornerstone of entire Gita. That we are all souls, we are not bodies. Najayate imriyate va kadajin ayam bhutva bhavidava na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The self is never born, never dies. It is unborn, eternal, everlasting. And vasamsa jirnani yatha vyaya navani grannati naroparani tadha sharirani vyaya jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi. As one discards worn out garments and takes new ones, so the soul leaves old bodies and takes the new ones. From this emerges the powerful takeaway, that is, fearlessness is born from self-knowledge. That I am soul, I am not body. All fear, fear of failure, fear of death, fear of change, fear of loss, comes from the mistaken identity. When one knows that I am eternal witness, the life becomes lighter. Part number 3, Karma Yoga, the art of karma without anxiety. Once self is understood, Shri Krishna Bhagavan moves to the practical domain, karma. Life cannot be avoided. We have come to live. Life cannot be avoided. The battlefield cannot be escaped in life. The responsibility cannot be abandoned. Thus, Shri Krishna Bhagavan teaches Arjuna the Karma Yoga. Performing duties without attachment is Karma Yoga. The most quoted verse of Bhagavad Gita is Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleju kadachana ma karma phale turbhur mate sangostva karmani. You have the right to perform your duty, your karma, but not the results. This is not indifference to result. It is detachment from emotional dependence on results. Work sincerely, but let go of the obsession that comes. Why? Because results depend on many factors. We learned this in Gita, not only on your efforts. We learned in the 18th Adhyay only. Adhishtanatha akarta karanicha pradakdam vividashtabdak cheshta daivai chaivatra panchamam. 5 factors are responsible for any action to take place. Only your efforts are of no use. Second, attachment creates fear, anger, impatience, ego, and stress. 3. Non-attachment brings clarity, efficiency, and joy. That is why karmanyavadikaraste. Ma phaleshu kudachana, ma karma phale etadvur, mate sangosto karmani. Shri Krishna Bhagavan also explains that avoiding action is impossible. In third adhyay, nahi kashchit kshanamapi jatu deshtatya karma krut karyate eva karma sarva prakriti gunaihi. No one can remain without action, without karma, even for a moment. Nahi kashchit kshanamapi. Even breathing is an action. Breathing is also a karma. The choice is not between action and inaction, but between wise action and confused action. Action cannot be avoided. The choice is between wise action and confused action. Thus, Karma Yoga is not withdrawal, it is the skill in action. God says in second adhyay, Buddhi yukto jahati ve sukruta dushkrute tasmad yoga yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is the skill of action, skill of karma. Karmasu kaushalam. Skill means acting without, acting with clarity, acting with calmness, acting with focus, acting with values, and acting with detachment. This transforms ordinary duty into spiritual practice. Ordinary karma gets converted into karma yoga. Part number 4 of Gita, the psychology of mind. Friend and enemy. Where is the friend and where is the enemy? God says, Bhagavan dives deep into this psychology of human beings. Who is my friend and who is my enemy? He explains that one's own mind can be his greatest enemy and his greatest friend as well. Uddhareda atmana atmanan atmanam avsadayet atmaye atmano bandhur atmayurivar atmanaha. Lift yourself by your own mind. The mind is the friend of the self and the enemy of the self. The enemy or friend are not hidden somewhere outside. They are in you only. The mind polluted by desires, by anger, by ego, by greed, by attachments, and by anxieties becomes unbearable. But when disciplined through meditation and self-control and contemplation of Bhagavad Gita, it becomes a loyal friend. The battlefield is not outside. The real field is within. The real battle is within. Gita teaches us how to regulate the desires, how to cultivate balanced habits, how to control speech, how to calm emotions, how to build unshakable focus. God has said, Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha in 6th adhyaya. Moderation is the key. Moderation in food, moderation in recreation, moderation in sleep, moderation in work leads to yoga. A stable mind creates stable life. Part number 5 of Gita, desire, anger, and the root of human suffering. Why do people suffer? Krishna explains the chain of reaction to wonderful shlokas in 2nd adhyay. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamak kamat krudo vijayate and krudat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti bhramshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. Dwelling on objects, sense objects, shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, desires arises. Desire turns into anger. Desire not fulfilled, anger. Anger leads to delusion. Delusion destroys the memory. Memory loss, it causes intellect destruction. And when intellect is destroyed, the person is totally ruined. Satyanash. This is the psychological masterpiece of Bhagavad Gita. These 2 shlokas of 2nd adhyay, 62 and 63. Suffering begins when the mind clings to uncontrolled desires. Dhyayato vishayan pusa. Start from here. Dhyayato vishayan pusa. If one controls desires, the rest of chain collapses. But cannot, then we cannot avoid the rest of the journey. Therefore, Shri Krishna Bhagavan teaches self-awareness and disciplined living. Part number 6 of Gita, the 3 gunas. Prakriti consists of 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo. Understanding of human behavior based on these 3 gunas. Shri Krishna Bhagavan categorizes human nature into these 3 gunas of qualities. Which are those 3? Sattva guna, purity. calmness, clarity, truthfulness, harmony, and balance. This is Sattva Guna. Rajasic activity, restlessness, ambition, desire, and passion. And Tamas, inertia, laziness, ignorance, confusion, and delusion. These are tamasic gunas. Everyone is a mixture of these three gunas. The goal is to increase sattva, reduce rajas, and eliminate tamas, and finally rise beyond all three. So the journey starts with going more and more towards sattva guna, but ultimately the objective should be to become gunatita. Because in 14th Adhyaya, Paramatma has said how to do it, how to become gunatit. God says, Manchayo vicharina bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati ityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. By undivided devotion, one transcends the three gunas. He becomes gunatit. Know your nature, refine your nature, transcend your nature. The Gita becomes a guide for personal transformation. It helps us to become gunatit so that we don't get bondage even by sattva guna. Because all the three gunas are binding. Even sattva guna binds us. Part number 4 of Gita, 7 of Gita, the glory of God. The seeing divinity in everything. That is the glory of God. Seeing divinity in everything. To broaden Arjuna's vision, Shri Bhagavan reveals his cosmic form, cosmic nature in 11th Adhyaya, Virat Rup. Before that, he says in 10th Adhyaya, Yaddadvibhuti matsatvam Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā tattadevavagachatvam mama tejamsha sambhavan. Whatever is glorious, whatever is powerful or splendid, know it to spring from a spark of my splendor. Mama tejamsha sambhavam. Everything beautiful, strong, intelligent, creative, or majestic reflects the divine. The world becomes sacred when one sees God operating through it. This shift dissolves jealousy, hatred, and the fear. Part number 8 of Gita, the universal form. The revolutionary spiritual experience of Arjuna. The climax of Krishna Bhagavan's revelation occurs in chapter 11, Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga, when he unveils the Vishwarup, the cosmic form containing all universes. He says, Ye gastai jagatkustam pashyadasya characharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanya drashtamicchasi. Dekh lo, jo bhi kuch hai. Behold, the entire universe, moving and non-moving, centered in my body. Arjuna sees the past, the present, and the future in that cosmic form of Lord. He sees the creation, he sees the destruction. He sees the time devouring all beings, Kal. And he also sees infinite divine manifestations. And then God announces, Kalosmi lokakshakrut pravruddho lokan samahardamiha pravruttaha tade pitvan bhavishyanti sarve yeva sadah pratyanikeshu yodaha. Time, I am the Mahakal, the destroyer of the worlds. This transforms Arjuna's understanding that divine is not limited, divine is the entire universe. With this understanding, the ego dissolves in the face of such immensity. Part number 9 of Gita is Bhakti Yoga. The sweetest and most accessible path for everybody is Bhakti Yoga. After presenting knowledge about karma, action, about meditation, Shri Krishna Bhagavan offers devotion as the most accessible path for the majority. The Gita's heart beats strongest in this Bhakti shlokas, which in 9th Adhyaya, God says, Patram pushpam balanto yume bhaktya prechati tadaham bhakti varadam ashtami pretatmanaha. Arey bhai, you offer me leaf, flower, fruit, कुछ नहीं है तो पानी दे दो चलेगा, water, but with devotion. I will accept it. Patram pushpam palantoyam yume bhaktya prechati tadam bhakti varadam ashtami pretatmanaha. And in the same Adhyaya, God has announced, Ananyashchante yanto mam yejana privasate teshan nityaviyuktana yogakshemam vahamyaham. To those who worship me with love, I personally take care of their needs. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. And in Bhakti Yoga, in 12th Adhyay, which is Bhakti Yoga, in the Shlok 13 and 14, God has said, Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karune vacho nirmamo nirankara samadukha sukha kshami and santushta sadada yogi yatatma dhrida nishchayah mayarpidamano buddhir yomad bhaktasya priyah. They describe the qualities of true devotee: compassion, humility, forgiveness, tolerance, friendliness, self-control. Love is superior to logic. Devotion melts the hardest of mind. In Bhakti, God becomes our friend, our guide, our father, our mother, our beloved. Part number 10 of Gita, ethical foundations, divine versus demonic qualities. Daivasur Sampad Bhagavad, you know what that Adhyay is, 16th Adhyay. Shri Krishna Bhagavan devotes the entire chapter to human virtues and vices. Divine qualities, Daivi Sampatti, what are those? Fearlessness. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddha Jnana Vyavasthiti starts with that. So 3 shlokas, they describe the 26 Daivi Sampatti attributes: fearlessness, purity of heart, generosity, self-control, non-violence, truthfulness, serenity, compassion. And the major demonic Asuri Sampatti, arrogance, anger, harshness, hypocrisy, greed, cruelty, egoism. God says in 16th Adhyay, Teja Kshamadu Teshauja Madroho Nati Vanita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Avijatasya Bharato. Divine qualities lead to liberation, demonic qualities lead to bondage. We need to do self-inspection, introspection, whether we are having more of Daivi Guna or Asuri Guna. Spiritual growth requires deliberate development of virtues, Daivi Gunas. Ethics is not optional. It is the foundation of spiritual life. Part number 11th of Bhagavad Gita, faith, food, charity and lifestyle. The Gita explains even the faith, food, charity, speech can be sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Sattvic food nourishes life, purity, strength. 17th Adhyay teaches us all this. Shraddha Trayya Bhag Yoga. Rajasic food, it fuels desire and restlessness. Tamasic food increases dullness and confusion. Charity must also be sattvic, satpatridan, given selflessly at the right place at the right time to the deserving is the sattvic dan. Your habits, they shape your destiny. The Gita becomes a manual for lifestyle refinement, changing our habits so that we attain our destiny. Part number 12 of Gita, renunciation, sannyas, inner sannyas and outer sannyas. Shri Krishna Bhagavan clarifies that true renunciation is not physical withdrawal but inner detachment. He says in 18th Adhyay, which we have studied already, Nai devrata anshaktin taktan karmani sheshita yastu kanfal atyagi satyagi itavidiyate, 11th sloka. And in 33rd Adhyay, God has said, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasya vigadajvaraha. In 18th Adhyay, when God says, Nai devrata shaktin taktan karmani sheshita yastu kanfal atyagi satyagi itavidiyate, true renunciation is giving up attachment to the fruits of action. And in 3rd Adhyay, God has said, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasya vigadajvaraha. Offer all actions to me. Act without ego, without expectation, without anxiety. You can live in the world yet remain inwardly free. That is the message we get. The Gita is not for Himalayas. It is for homes. It is for offices. It is for marketplaces. And it is for the decision tables, the decisions that we take in life. Part number 13 of Bhagavad Gita, the final secret of life is surrender, samarpan. After teaching about self-knowledge, karma, action, about devotion, bhakti, about meditation, about discipline, about ethics, and about cosmic vision, Shri Krishna Bhagavan gives the ultimate key. The shlok that we heard today, we read today, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja ahantva sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shujaha. The most important shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Abandon all other dharmas and surrender to me alone. I shall free you from all your sins. Do not fear. This is not escapism. This is not escapism. It is freedom from egoic confusion, not freedom from the responsibility. Surrender is not giving up life. It is giving up the false sense of doership. That you should surrender. Surrender brings peace, clarity, courage, trust, and inner guidance. It dissolves the karmic burden because the ego that accumulates karma, it's dissolved. Part number 14 of Gita, the transformation of Arjuna from fear to freedom. By the end of Gita, Arjuna is completely transformed. He begins with trembling body, clouded mind, emotional paralysis, moral confusion, and loss of direction. But he ends with clarity, with determination, with inner strength, with spiritual understanding, and with calm acceptance. Freedom from fear also is attained by him. His final words are Arjuna Vacha Nashto Mohastir Labdhat Patprasadan Mayachito Sitosmigda Sandeha Karishye Vachanantavo. My delusion is destroyed. By your grace, I have regained my memory. I will now act according to your instructions. The Gita's success lies in teaching philosophy, not only teaching philosophy, but in transforming the human being. It does not only teach, it transforms you totally. So if we take the essence of Bhagavad Gita in 20 points, point number 1, life will place you in situations where you must take difficult choices. Life is not easy. You have to make difficult choices. Point number 2, confusion is natural. Seeking guidance and clarity is the key. Know the eternal self. It is fearless and deathless. Do your duty without attachment to results. Control the mind. Discipline leads to peace. Uncontrolled desires lead to suffering. The 3 gunas shape the behavior. Transcend those 3 gunas. Sattva-rajo-tamo. Become gunatit. See God in all beings and all greatness. Develop a cosmic perspective. Never and narrow. If you do that, then the narrow ego in you will get dissolved. Bhakti is the most accessible and sweetest path of attaining God. Divine virtues elevate, negative qualities enslave, put it in bondage. Lifestyle, food, speech, charity influence the mind. True renunciation is inner detachment, not withdrawal. Offer all actions to the divine. Surrender dissolves the fear. Accept life's dualities with equanimity. Samatma yoga uchyate. Ethical conduct purifies the heart. Spiritual practice must integrate into daily life. It's not a question of doing it for an hour in a week and then forgetting about it all. Every moment, every action that we take in life should have this. Spiritual practice must be integrated in daily life, not for merely reading. It should reflect in our daily behavior, in daily life. And last point, the final goal is moksha, mukti, liberation, salvation. A state of peace, joy, and God consciousness is the ultimate objective of human life. So, in conclusion, the Gita wants you to become wise like a sage, courageous like a warrior, devoted like a saint, disciplined like a yogi, calm like an ocean, compassionate like a mother, and fearless like the eternal self. It wants you to live in the world and yet remain untouched by it. Like a lotus that grows in the mud but is never tainted, never stained. Ultimately, the Gita is conversation between your confused self, that is Arjuna, and your highest self, that is Shri Krishna Bhagavan. When you listen deeply, you discover the battlefield is inside you. The teacher is inside you. The answers are inside you. And liberation is also inside you only. Just say to yourself and act upon it. What? I will not fulfill every desire of mine. I will only fulfill those desires which are focused and going to help me in reaching my ultimate goal in life. So this is the $1,000,000 lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, today's session was pretty long, but we had to take summary of our entire Bhagavad Gita. So that's why it took a little long. Sorry for that. Now the forum is open for you to raise your questions on any of the adhyayas of Bhagavad Gita from 1 to 18. Feel free to ask your questions. If you feel the time is too much now, you can reserve your questions for the next session. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, thank you very, very much, Bhaiya. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, Bhaiya, for sprinkling nectar and pearls of wisdom in such a wonderful way and thought-provoking, mesmerizing, spell-binding interpretation session. Thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. Bhaiya, your presentation was very enlightening to us today, and the ideas and the wisdom imparted by you was very profound. Thank you once again. All sadhaks are welcome for the questions. Bhaiya has really explained the crux of the whole Gita in this interpretation. So any of you is having any doubt to be dispelled by Bhaiya, kindly, yes. Yes,
Subodh Bhaiya.
please.
Jai Shri Krishna
Shri
or
Krishna.
Pranam.
Pranam.
I like to clear two doubts today.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
first one is about the naming of adhyayas. I am
Naming of
slightly
adhyayas.
confused. I am
Ah,
slightly
ah,
confused about the naming of chapter 18. Whether it is Muksha Sannyasa Yug or simply Muksha Yug. Or like
Moksha
other
Sannyasa Yoga. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. You see, the first
uh,
question of Arjuna in the 18th adhyaya is, how is sannyas
our
different than...
chapter
Ah,
6, it is Dhyana Yoga or Atma Sangyama Yoga. Which one is
ah.
correct?
See, 6th adhyaya is called in these different names. Atma Sanyam Yoga, Dhyana Yoga.
And
Both names.
in chapter 9 is Viveka
Rajvidya Yoga.
Jnana Yuga or Raja Vidya Raja Guya Yuga or Param Guya Jnana Yoga.
No, Raja Yoga. Because in the shloka, in the shloka of that adhyaya itself, Rajavidya name has come, Guhyan also has come. So it is Raja Yoga.
Jai Shri Krishna. My second idea I have to clear it, which one is when Panchabandava were exiled in Banavasa
Huh?
for 12 years.
Huh?
Panchabandava
Uh-huh.
were
Yeah.
exiled for 12 years.
Yes.
In that time, Arjuna went to Swarga.
Hmm.
Went to Swarga to fight Nibat Kavacha, etc.
Hmm.
But after that, when Panchabandava and Draupadi tried to Swargarohana, Arjuna
Hmm.
failed. I
Hmm.
am confused about it.
I am not clear about the story that you are mentioning.
Arjuna went to Swarga
Hmm.
when they were in Vanavasa.
Hmm.
But after that, when Kurukshetra Yuddha was over, and after that, when Panchabandava and Draupadi were going to Swargarohana,
Hmm.
Arjuna couldn't go Swarga physically.
See, physically, to imagine that someone has physically gone to Swarga is a stretching of imagination. Because when the human being leave their body here, the body cannot go to Swarga. How can the body go to Swarga? We call it Sadeha, but that does not mean that Deha has gone. We discussed 3 types of Deha today. Sukshma Sharir, Sthul Sharir and Karan Sharir. So when Sukshma Sharir goes, one can understand. But this gross body, it cannot travel to the heaven. What can travel is Sukshma Sharir. So Sukshma Sharir, yes, it can attain the heaven, but not the gross body. Gross body cannot.
But when Arjuna was in exile for 12 years with Panchabandava, he went to Swarga. How it was possible?
No, that's, see, there are many stories like that in our Mahabharata. You have to understand the story in the context of it. Going to Swarga does not mean physically going to Swarga. Inner peace is also Swarga. When you attain inner peace, that itself is Swarga. When you attain your own self-respect, self-honor, that itself is a Swarga. So attaining that mental condition is also like Swarga only. So he has attained that kind of mental peace. That is why it is called Swarga. Not physically he went to Swarga. See, there is no Swarga like a housing colony, you see. There is no Swarga that it's a 3-bedroom apartment hall or 3-bedroom bungalow. There is no such Swarga. Swarga is the mental conditioning only.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes, Shri Krishna.
Rajkumarji.
Bhaiya, the wrap on all the 18 chapters which you have made today has elevated to us to a higher plane. So
Thank you,
we are
sir.
all having emotionally, we are also feeling the feelings of Arjuna. So I think if we put it in our life, at least a part of that, I think we can change the thinking process, and we can do something to the Sanatana Dharma. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Actually, I want to take one full session only for summary of entire Gita, but there is no such time available. So that's why we have to compress the 6th part of 18th Adhyay plus the summary of entire Gita in one session.
Yes, that would be really very, very fruitful for all of us here.
Yeah.
Any other question or from any sadhak? I think that all have been enlightened by your very, very interesting and very, very full of wisdom, the interpretation session, Bhaiya. Once again, a heartful thanks to you, Bhaiya,
Thank
from the bottom of my heart, not only on my behalf, but on behalf of all the sadhaks, all Gita Pariwar, and all sadhaks, devotees globally who have been with us today. And a heartfelt thanks to our techno star Bhaiya and the entire team of volunteers who have been relentlessly working for the conduct of this Zoom session. And thanks to all the sadhaks, devotees, without whom this won't have been possible for us to have this sort of session. So the real thanks to all the devotees globally who are linked to our Zoom session or through any other media. Thank you very, very much. And Bhaiya, if you permit, we may further go for the prayer.
Yeah, please, please.
Yes. And all sadhaks and all present in the Zoom session are requested to remain connected with us after the prayer. There would be Hanuman Chalisa. So kindly be with us. And for offering our prayer, I request Srimati Anupam Sharma ji. She is from Delhi, Bharat. She is a chartered accountant, and Didi is having hobby of social service. She is a practitioner of chartered accountancy, and she is a co-trainer of L1, and she joined Geeta Pariwar in January 2025. You are most welcome, Didi. Kindly lead us for the prayer. Jai Shri Krishna.
योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीर कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. Thank you,
Thank
Bhaiya.
you, Anupam Didi, for the melodious, soulful prayer. Thank you very, very much. Thanks a lot once again. Thanks to all of you. And now kindly remain joined with us for the Hanuman Chalisa.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरना मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
Sadhaks who have joined this session, that on December 1 there would be back-to-back 7 Sampurn Parayan on the occasion of Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav. So kindly join the link provided you in the groups on 1st December, 7 Parayan starting from 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. So 7 Parayans would be full, Sampurn Parayan would be there back to back. And this Parayan system, in the morning 6:30 a.m., it is one chapter Parayan, and 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. every day is a Sampurn Parayan of Bhagavad Gita, and this will continue till 31st of December. Jai Shri Krishna, all of you are once again humbly requested to attend all